Hi, it's Andy from Warley Club. I'm out on my own. I've left Paul at the club, so we're in Margate filming a video with Simon Kohler. So let's go and see what Simon's got to say about the future of Hornby and the future of Hornby as a sponsor for the Warley show. So let's have a look around. So Simon, thanks for inviting us to Hornby.
Oh no, you're welcome.
So first off, obviously we've known each other a long time, talking at the shows, meeting at the shows. How do you feel about Warley as a club and coming to our show as a sponsor? Quite a few questions.
Oh
there.
right, yeah, there is, isn't there? Well, first of all, I never excuse me, I never forget the time I did ring the Warley club. It was back in the late 90s, and we had a new chairman or new chief exec, and we had a new lease of life, and I wanted to be at the Warley show because everybody said, why aren't you the Warley show? And prior to that we had never had the budget or anything like that. So I rang, spoke to Paul. He said, yeah, lovely to have you there, and all the rest of it. Now you've got to remember, this wasn't like sort of January or February. This was just a week or two before the actual event.
That close.
It was that close, and he found space for us, and I've never ever forgotten that, because I think that was so generous and very kind of him. So how do I feel about it? Yeah, I think it was the first proper show we had done, so you always remember the first time, so they say, but you do. And we've always had an excellent welcome. We've always been well looked after, and you know, I can't really fault the organisation of it. I think it's just a good show.
Absolutely, it's a team effort.
Well, yes, and I think that's probably, it does come over. And so you see the same people year in, year out, and it's just nice. It's just a nice feeling. It's just a nice atmosphere.
Nice weekend.
Yeah, it is.
It's a busy weekend, but
yes, yeah. Well, we hope it is, but yeah, and it always has been, from the setup right the way through to the breakdown. And again, over the years, the breakdowns have changed, but you know,
it's evolving.
It's evolved, but you know, what can be perceived or can turn into chaos, you know, you guys keep it well controlled.
We like swans.
Oh well,
yeah.
I think, well, we all do that, but yeah, no, I think no, Warley's terrific. Yeah, it's a good show. Good show.
Yeah, like I said, we always appreciate any feedback you give us, and it's always positive feedback, and we always appreciate the support you give us through the year. So that's
well, it's a partnership, isn't it? These things,
it's a bigger team.
You know, we all work together in this business.
That's brilliant. Okay, so my next thing is Hornby for me. So when I pulled into the car park, I sort of got excited, because it takes me back to me as a 4-year-old. The first thing I ever received as a 4-year-old was a Hornby Class 25.
Oh really?
On a 5 by 4 foot board, and I had the old Great Western freight pack.
Oh, yeah,
and that was my 4th Christmas. That was my dad playing. What do you remember as sort of getting into the hobby and interest? And
my mum was a widow with three boys, so my middle brother, he was the railway chap. He was the one who went train spotting. He went all over the eastern region, King's Cross, up Peterborough, and so on. So we spent a lot of time, and you know, he ended up one Christmas wanting a Hornby 00 and a Hornby 00 train set. Now this was probably, it was about 1960, I think it was. It was the first year that Hornby 00 introduced their 2-rail system.
Okay.
It's around about that. And so he got, you know, the cheapest train set that they did, which was a little 060 and a couple of wagons and a brake van. I remember the brake van. And you know, he had the track, bought a bit extra track, but I mean, you know, we didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so we got this baseboard and pinned it down, and that was fine. Now, as with all siblings, you see, he's got it, he's having fun. I want some of this.
Yeah, you want to get
you
involved.
see now, and I used to go train. I was more of a nuisance, to be fair, because Mum had to work. So if he went off train spotting at the local station or whatever, I used to tag along. I was a nuisance. So I was the one who, you know, not necessarily interested. I was more up to mischief. But he had this. I want some of this. So I then pestered my mother. So I think it was an E1 loco. So the following Christmas I wanted it, but I didn't get a train set. What I got was a black E1 and a mail coach set.
Okay.
And a couple of other bits. And then I had to try and persuade my brother to let me have a go on his train set.
Yeah.
And you know, it wasn't always easy. And you know,
Super
I used to have
rivalry and all the rest.
Well, there was there was that, and I had to slip him, you know, some sweets or whatever if I wanted to go. So, if you like, he was the original Network Rail. You know, I had to pay to use his track. So happy days. You know, you didn't have a lot, but what you had,
you made the most.
Of it. Yeah, it was terrific.
So talking about, obviously we're talking about children now, youngsters now. What are Hornby doing to get children off the iPad generation and actually doing modelling and interest?
As you realise, it isn't easy.
No.
And there's no single thing you can do. So we're trying lots of different things, lots of little things. You know, looking at what the train sets are. Yeah, Flying Scotsman is always going to be popular, and that's the sort of train set the granddad or the dad will buy for the little boy, or little girl, for the granddad to play with. We have to look at other things. You know, we've just introduced the Coca-Cola set as one aspect. Bright. It's not aimed at children, but it's bright,
and
bright
it's
red,
and
it's the sort of thing adults will like. Actually, after that, you have a Christmas train set, which is just a simple circle, which you can buy, put it around the tree. But from there, it's
expandable.
We can expand. But going back further, we have the junior train set.
Yeah.
Now the junior train set is a battery set, plastic track, perfectly safe. If you like, it takes over from what the clockwork set used to be many years ago. So it's simple battery set, put on the track, press the button, train goes round. There's a tunnel, there's a cardboard station, there's trees and things. So that will run and run and run, and kids just love to see it go around.
Are there plans to expand that range, or?
We have. I'm always nervous about saying what we're going to do and what we're not going to do, but it is an area that, with the interest that has been shown to us, then it is something we seriously need to look at. This year we've just launched the Paddington set, so that helps expand, if you like, the interest. So characters always do help to attract. So Paddington's a pretty set blue set. So
good. And going back to the obviously my youth, my generation growing up was the HST.
Yes.
Do you find that what kids buy their sons, daughters is changing over the years? So 20 years ago, you're talking people that grew up Steam, well, probably be teenagers of Steam. I grew up with HSTs. So if I had a son, daughter, I'd push the HST sort of period, whereas my dad pushed more Steam because he grew up with Steam. Do you find that sort of a generation?
I think there's obviously an element of that. But I think as long as something is interesting, is good value, and it's something that can be expanded upon, then I'm not sure there's a specific angle in any of this. Okay. I mean, as I've said earlier, you got your Flying Scotsman.
Iconic.
It's iconic. you see. But you know, I've got the Eurostar, which people see. You know, whenever there's issues, unfortunately, in Europe, or whatever, they'll always show a Eurostar or something. So there's always that sort of thing. But then again, people, you know, these preserved railways and so on, they tend to run a lot of steam, so the kiddies see the steam. And as explained to me years ago, that if you ask a kiddie to draw a train,
He draws a steam train.
he will draw a steam train. Always do one with a chimney.
Yeah.
So you know, it is one of those interesting questions, and I don't think there's really a specific answer. Only that there really isn't an answer.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, Simon. So current climate now at the moment with plastics, and everyone's against plastics, the worst thing on the planet. What are Hornby doing to change? And
yeah, I'm not sure plastic is the worst thing on the planet. I think it's what people do with it is the worst thing. Plastic, obviously, our product is made using plastics of one form or another. I think the concern is the packaging side of life, and we are very, very conscious of that. Don't forget, you know, we live next to the sea, so we walk along the beach and we can see the rubbish that gets sort of swept up. So you know, it is in our psyche more so than probably most. So what are we doing? Well, let's look at expanded polystyrene. Any new sets we're introducing, we will use the recycled cardboard packaging containers, you know, the trays. So I think we've all seen them. You know, I think Apple have been using them for years. It's this sort of browned, motley effect. So we all have that, and I think, you know, initially, you know, when you open up a train set and you see that, you're not necessarily seeing its best slide. But I think these days people accept it. It's packaging. It's sturdy enough. People like to put stuff back in and then, you know, and then store it. So it's durable enough. It's recycled cardboard, and we're doing away with expanded polystyrene. We will be developing that process all the way through, so less and less expanded polystyrene will be used. What you have to remember is that, take into account locomotives, they travel and they get sent through the post and all the rest of it, and we've spent years trying to formulate the packaging so it does not get damaged at a price that people are prepared to pay, because every time you add more, it costs more. So you can put it in a big block of sponge, if you like, but you have to remember that bigger block of sponge is in a cardboard box, which is bigger, which is going to be shipped from China. You're going to get less in a cube and all the rest of it. So the costs go up. So that is a factor we have to take into account. If you look at our main range, we use like a clam plastic shell. Now that is a plastic that can be recycled.
Okay.
Anyway, so we are quite comfortable with that, and also bearing in mind that most people tend not to throw the packaging away, so it's not actually going to get chucked back into the environment. But if it does, it is recyclable. As a company, all the way through, everything we're looking at now has to be, you know, either look at is it recyclable, is it going to damage the environment, and so on. Even down to we have if you like, a workers' meeting, what we call a reps meeting, where in the last subject that cropped up was, do we have to use standard dishwashing liquid? Can we use something eco more friendly? The answer is yes, of course we can. Good point. It's what we do at home. So I'm talking from an expert on this, because I'm very, very conscious of what we buy, what we recycle, and we all should be. So yeah, it's in our psyche. We are going to work through it. We're not perfect at the moment, but we will be.
Okay. The next question is about spares, spare parts.
Yeah. Yeah, spares. Hornby built its reputation, or Triang Hornby built its reputation on having a good spare service. It went through a period of a few years ago where the spares were considered, or really not considered, as an important part of the business. On my return, and my fellow directors, it is an important part of the business, and it's taking us time to get the spare parts back into the warehouse so we have surplus. It does take time, but normally if we're running a loco or class of loco, for example, we will run extra spare parts. Where we have locos that aren't in the range but the demand for spare parts is there, we're hanging the tool. That costs us more. Not, it's always a consideration, but the importance is we need to get that spare part in.
Okay.
We're not perfect. We're in a pretty good place, but we're not perfect at the moment. And there'll always be that spare part that somebody wants that we haven't got, therefore we're considered as if we've got nothing. So I sympathise, and we will do our utmost to find something to resolve that situation for that one particular customer. Bodies, we haven't produced spare bodies for years, actually. I mean, even when we manufactured here, we didn't have them. There are a number of reasons for it, but if there's an instance, people write to me, we can do our best to try and, again, resolve the situation. But it has to be remembered that we can't do it for everyone.
Yeah.
Right?
That's brilliant.
Okay, but the customer, the customer is important. Without them, we don't actually have a business, if you think about it.
No, they've got to be the number one.
Well, they are really, and they generally are.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
All right.
Thank you, Simon.
Okay, no, you're welcome.
Okay, Simon, so we're in this absolutely fantastic section. Lovely, fantastic models, buildings. Where are we going with these, or where are we going to go with these for the future? Yeah,
no, Scaledale is still an important part of our range, and will continue to be so. There's been so much that we've had to focus on over the last couple of years, that we've had to, in some ways, amend with what we've got. Next year, we're looking to add more to it, and not just take the old models and basically re-livery them. I've never been a great fan of that, but totally new models as well. So that's certainly on the card. These things, though, they don't. Although there's not as much complex design work as there is on a loco, they do take time to produce, and then get them over to the Far East, get them produced, and then back over here. So it does take time.
One thing that we get is a lot of manufacturers, they produce a model, especially the buildings, especially like a terraced house, for instance, and you normally have sort of a row of terraced houses, but because they're only short runs, you tend to find you have to either spend £1,000 all in one hit to get a number of houses, or to do a row, or you lose out and you end up to pay an even bigger fortune if you try and do it. Is it a plan to?
Funnily enough, where terrace houses are concerned, and I will have to double check this, but they should be one of those items that virtually constantly in the range. There are certain buildings that they come in and they go out. Thank you very much. Good night, Vienna. But with a terrace house, it tends to be a staple, because I know and I'm aware people build up terrace houses, terrace streets. So that should be a staple. But I will double check that. I'm not shooting you a line, but I'm pretty confident that's what it should be. But with regards to others, it's the nature of the beast that if you can produce a building, sells really well, so I'll do a few more, and then they just sit on the shelf because you've satisfied the market. There is a case in point with regards to Dent Station. We introduced that, we sold them. I thought, no, I shan't do any more. but the demand was so great, I put it in the range, and it's actually becomes it evolves. It's a staple one. So you know, the exception proves the rule on this sort of thing.
And in terms of your buildings, are you finding you're doing better with the ready painted, pre-built, plonk on the layout building, or the kit buildings?
Well, the market has changed from what it was like in my day, and you know, people always say, you know, oh, I don't have enough time, and in many respects, from as far as I'm aware, there's still 24 hours in the day. It's just that we cram more into it. With what I always wanted to do where Scaledale was concerned was produce something that was finished, quite happy just to put on the layout. However, they're there to be enhanced as well. So there's nothing stopping you putting a little bit of, you know, ivy up the wall, or changing the colour of the door, or dirtying it up, or just you know, change it, you know, play with it a bit. But if you haven't got time for that, you just want a quick building, pop it on the layout, done.
Section finished.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. So duplication of locos, obviously.
Oh right, yeah.
So we talk obviously the Class 47 Van Helsing is coming out.
Yes.
They're planning it, or it's in the design stage. Do you think it's going to be sustainable? So
well,
Helsing producing the 47, you've got Batman producing 47s for a number of years.
Don't forget we've got some 47s
as well.
It's probably in a slightly different league. See, what you're discussing, or you've mentioned here, is something we have been discussing. I mean, there are certain locomotives or models you should have in your range. You should. The 08 was one. I mean, it's such a ubiquitous loco. There was 800 of them. Yeah. And, you know, you should have that in the range. And I know when we introduced the latest version we got, you know, a little bit of a sort of a kicking. We know, why have you done it? You know, Batman have already got you duplicating. But the problem is, we should have one.
Yeah.
The discussion is, if you look at the 47s and indeed the 37s, well, should we not have one in our range? And part of me said, yeah, we should. And then another part of me said, yeah, but hang on a minute, you know. You've got, you know, Bachmann's 47/37. You know, you just mentioned Hellion. There are other tools out there. Should we? It is a dilemma, and I think if I had, you know, a big pot of money, I'd probably have a go.
What would be your magic? If you had a magic wand and you could produce any loco now, what would you pick?
Well, I'm probably already doing that. I've probably got all that ready planned.
Can we tell us? Or
no.
No. Okay. Tried.
Well, yeah, it's a good question. Yeah.
That's brilliant. So.
Okay, well, Simon, thanks for your time today. It's been really good speaking to you about lots of aspects of Hornby and their associated companies, and it's interesting to see that you're looking at obviously the younger market with regard to some of the corgi range and ranges like that. One more question that we'd like to ask you is really, where do you see the Hornby brand, the Hornby range going in the next 2 to 3 years? Because you kind of indicated earlier that you kind of work on a 5-year kind of forward-thinking plan. I'm not expecting to reveal any secrets.
No.
You
no. What I can tell you is we'll be here. We're not thinking of wandering off anywhere again. So we're very much established here. I see, and it's very difficult because you're just going to have a word for it. I see lots of exciting things. There's lots of plans, and lots of investment in all the brands that we have. You know, railways obviously has a particular soft spot for me, and I'm determined that we will progress and move forward, bearing in mind that, you know, I really would like to open up the market more. You talked about junior sets. I want to see more girls get involved, more
Yeah.
females involved, because I genuinely do believe they're really good modellers. They have a dexterity, they have an eye for detail, and so on. So I'd like to see that happen, and I think it's sort of, I think the key word is inclusive.
Yes.
So let's try and be more inclusive
Yes.
with it, and I don't mean let's produce, you know, trains with flowers, and because I think that and
Yeah,
so on. I
yes,
think that's certainly the wrong
No.
route, but you know, we need to encourage them to get involved, because for model railways is such a broad church. It's got so many educational factors to it. You know, I don't have to tell you.
Well, I recall speaking to you, and I said, you know, I'm perceived as a kind of bit of a, you know, train modelling is, you know, oh, you model trains. I said, well, you said, well, you carpentry skills, electrical skills, you learn to solder, you learn,
you know,
electronics,
basic physics, topography, you know,
and it's art in a way,
and it is art.
Yeah.
No, that's what it is. It is art. It's using your eye, hand, and it's imagination, and on top of all that, it's damn good fun. It's fun. And nobody gets into this hobby, or really any hobby, to be miserable, do they?
Yeah.
They do it to relax, to pass the time, and have a degree of satisfaction.
Definitely.
Doesn't matter what level.
And it's now becoming more sociably acceptable.
And
Especially
you can
with
thank the
Great Model Railway
TV, the Great Model
yeah,
Railway Challenge
definitely.
has done so much.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that sort of thing. But, you know, in 5 years' time, I'd like to think it's a much more inclusive.
again.
It's evolved. We will have product range which hopefully will encapsulate that.
Well, I
and
know you talked about the Harry Potter range when we spoke earlier, and that was a big draw for the kind of the girls'
Yes,
side.
yeah.
I know my daughter watches the Harry Potter films and wants the Hogwarts Express to run on my layout.
Yeah.
She'll not get to touch it, but she can watch it going round. But you know, so that is even getting her interested.
It's looking for these different angles to
Yeah.
get people into it. I mean, they had a Harry Potter film on at the weekend.
Yeah.
They seem to have them on most weekends,
Yes.
which is great. You know,
Yes.
anything that shows a loco or whatever, anything like that, just gets people interested and fascinated. So, yeah, the next 5 years are going to be interesting. I'll probably have a few sleepless nights, but all in all, no, we're here for the long haul. And who knows, you may even see a 47 or a 37 or another Deltic or goodness knows what else.
You heard it here first. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Okay,
Simon.
no,
Thank
you're more than
Pleasure.
welcome.
Pleasure.
Thanks for
Thank you
coming.
very much.
Thank you.
No, that's good.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks just now.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dave and welcome to Dean Park. Today we've got a special video for you too. That's Seagull. Well, as you can, you see what you've just... Go around there now, Andy, and see if I'm actually in shot. You don't want to do all this, come all this way and escape from Scotland to then find it.
Yeah.
Is it filming?
You could do maybe coming up a bit higher. Try to go backwards, that's it there. That's better, isn't it?
Oh, no.
We're ready?
If we got any closer to you, we'd be engaged.
Best offer today.
Oh, yes.
Second.
Use me.
So Simon, thanks for inviting us to Hornby. I'm not that good.
I'm just not thinking straight.
I don't
I'm
think
actually...
that's the problem.
That's it, it's the bloody...
Comes out
aye.
correct.
Can I walk onto this, you think? Just, right. Hold on.
Sorry? Dead looking.
Yeah? Right. Here we go then. Hi, I'm Dave and welcome to Dean Park. In this video, we're visiting Hornby HQ here in Margate in Kent for an exclusive interview with Simon Kohler. So let's go in and see what Simon's got planned for the future of Hornby.
Good.
Right.
Start again.
We've joined, oh, I'll start again. We're in the kind of Humbrol Corgi section. Probably break it in the process. We might get kicked out actually. Probably would. Very funny. Right, what we're going to say there, so that's Simon, just, you could, I'll tell you what, I'll say, well, that's Simon just left us, Andy, to have a look around the shop, and you see, yeah, it's been a great day. I'm sure I'm going to be spending too much money.
Yeah.
That'll do.
I'm like a kid in a sweet shop.
Yeah, that's something.
That sort of thing.
Right, keep it short and sweet. Ready? Well, Andy, that's been a great day. The visitor centre was fantastic, and Simon's just left us to have a browse around the visitors shop.
This is going to be dangerous. This
You think
is
so?
child in the sweet shop. Everywhere you look, there's, you've got Sky Electric, we've got Hornby, we've got Airfix, paints, everything you can think of.
Yeah.
Right on the doorstep of the.
It could be an expensive half hour.
Afternoon.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think you need to take my credit card off me before I go mad. But no, it's been brilliant. Epic afternoon with
Yeah. It really has been great. Yeah, if you've not visited Hornby HQ in Margate or the visitor centre, I'd fully recommend it. It shows you a kind of potted history of the company through 99 years of its existence. So come along, it's great value for money, and there's also a cafe on site where you can grab a bite to eat as well.
Don't forget the open day. We've got the open day.
Open day in August. The details to that are at the bottom of the screen right now. So if you want to come along, there's a big opening, a big reopening of the Margate exhibition centre and the shop. So come along to that day. Check out the Hornby website for more details.
See you soon.
Cheers.
That was a great interview with Simon. Really good conversation. Really nice to see some insights into what Hornby do, how they operate, how they work. And in Margate, what a better place to be to interview Simon, but in his home. So thanks to Simon, thanks to Hornby, thanks for accommodating us. Thanks to David from Dean Park for coming down and supporting the open day yesterday, but also for help with the questions and talking. So the idea is it's going to be video split into two. Part of the video will be on the Warley page, the other part will be on the Dean Park. So if you watch the video here, go and see more information and go and have a look at Dean Park and see what Dean Park's video says and compare the two. If you haven't already subscribe to Warley, like our page and comments, loads of comments. It's part of our Warley Visits series, so we're hoping to visit other manufacturers, so any feedback we get we can use with when we go and hopefully visit Bachmann and some of our other sponsors, Pico, Railway Modeler, etc. But thanks very much, thanks for watching, see you soon.